Well,
Hi.
yeah. Hi, I'm on my phone. That's the only thing that's working. I
Oh,
ins I installed an app which I think I'll like if it ever works, but it is totally screwed up Zoom. It's connected to Zoom and it's supposed to work with Zoom and it just trashes it. I can't do anything and I haven't been able to find any support. Zoom won't give me support and so I have to go back and figure out if I can connect with the app folks and uninstall it.
not fun. That's not fun.
Yeah, I've not had this kind of problem before, so
Well,
very,
I'm glad you're laughing because it's not fun.
no, it's not. That's not.
Yeah. So Robert isn't here this morning. Not going to be here.
He's traveling and he's traveling through August.
Oh,
So we went through a whole thing yesterday where he re-signed up and he should be able to get in if he wants to, but with this problem, who knows?
huh.
So I don't know if he's tried or not. I haven't seen or heard anything from him. But because you had problems and I had problems, I would anticipate he would have problems too. So,
I didn't have any other than waiting for you to open the thing.
okay. All right. Well, maybe then if he can do it, he will. Yeah.
All right. So, what's going on with us? With you, with me?
Yeah, I keep hoping. I've been inviting people to this, and one woman is in Australia, and so the time doesn't work. It's like 4 in the morning for her, but she listens to the videos.
Good.
So I'm hoping to actually do an interview with her at some point for the network and maybe even for the podcast. So we'll see. Um, but she said, yeah, she does really interesting stuff. So I think it'd be great to do that.
What what
Uh,
is what is your vision for the deep dive? What is it you want to experience and provide?
well, I'm still, I've got the podcast going. And so I'm encouraging people from the podcast to come here. And in fact, on the network, there is a course called Awakening to Gaia's Voice. And so I put the podcast in there with all the resources that I talk about on the podcast and with homework. So that it's a more active engagement with the podcast and people can go deeper into that particular area. Um, so my hope is that people will join the network and take the course. And I'm doing a series of workshops in September, which I'm going to start to advertise. And then I'm going to do a 4-week course in October. So hopefully by doing those kinds of things, I will get more people onto the network and engaged with me and with each other.
So specifically deep dive. What I'm because my interest in deep dive is very different than yours. My interest in deep dive is really to get into the juicy mix of our subjective experiential exchanges.
Yeah. Well, and I'd like to keep that. I think that's exactly right. It's a place to really go deeper than you can in other places.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, so I would like to keep that for that. And hopefully people from the classes or from the podcast will find that interesting. Joe Petroni is a architect, and I've run into her in several other groups, and we connected, and she actually joined because I thought it would be good for her and Robert to talk because she's got an interest in um, Kathryn Alexander's pattern thinking for architects. So it's another kind of systems thinking, but he was architecturally based, and she's very skilled in that. So I thought it would be an interesting thing to explore with her and Robert in particular. But she signed up last week, and yeah, so, and couldn't get in because she wasn't completely signed up. So we'll see where that goes. So, other people will join us and we'll see where it goes.
I'd be interested in having a conversation about a systems view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to see what Alexander's work connects with what we're doing would be very interesting.
I don't
And
know how-
Joe,
I just want each of us. I'm interested in it. I mean, from Capra. I mean, I love what I've learned. I've heard from him and learned from him. And
have you signed up for the alumni stuff? Because he's doing a new thing with the alumni, trying to actually get alumni to come forward with their work and stuff. So
yeah,
I will be
that's
part of it.
right. Yeah, yes, I'm interested in that. I sent Sylvia an email because there's conflicting information as to the time, but
Oh.
she'll clean that up and
Okay.
send it out to us. But yes, I'm interested in that, and I'm just interested in what the hell a systems view is from subjectively speaking. Subjectively speaking, because it's about each of us having a systems view of life, of our bodies, of the globe, and it's fascinating to attempt to unpack that. What does that mean? What systems view do I have? What is the system that I am viewing? I am a system. I am a system, and having a systems view of life. What does that look like, mean? How to unpack that? And I'd love to talk about that. Whatever comes, whatever you respond, whatever comes up in me, because that's the way to see things from a systems view.
Yes, and for me, that means that all actions are taken with the good of the whole in mind. I mean, I have to go back to my value system because I think that's what that's for. That's why I find it useful. And understanding the patterns that living systems use helps me be centered in those and understand the depth and the breadth and the vitality of diversity, so that I'm much more open to difference than I would otherwise be. It makes me realize that I'm not alone, so I don't act as a separate thing. I act in concert with and need to be always aware and responsive to the things around me so that I don't act without that. I saw a beautiful video yesterday just called The Art of Living, and it was just magical. The guy lives in Hawaii, and he was just talking about his life. He's a mathematics genius and started out that way and found there was only one person who understood him. So he went off to just do his life. And one of the things he said that was so sweet was he spent 5 years swimming with the dolphins off of Hawaii and became part of the pod and understood a lot about that. And he said they're all about politeness.
I just want to contemplate that a moment. Okay, I want to go there. He swam as part of the pod. Oh my God.
Yeah. For 5 years.
Yes.
They played together and everything. And then they had a big migration and they wanted him to come. And he knew he couldn't because he couldn't swim all the time. He had to have land. and so he couldn't go, and he still regrets it.
Who is he?
His first name is Michael. I don't really know what his last name is. But
But
it's
the art, it's the
the
art.
art of living. It's on my YouTube channel under spirit, under several things. Yeah, so you can get it there.
Can I go to YouTube and just put in the art of living and
Well,
go
you can
there?
try, sure. Yeah, it might come up. Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to hear his experience.
Oh, yeah. It's just it's
And what I experience when I even think of that,
yeah.
of swimming with dolphins, of that kind of community, communal experience, and how I can replicate that as a human being, on the surface of the earth
Well, it's
with
just being responsive to others. I don't see it as any being different there, and the politeness, the
it's
kindness, the
it's not
reciprocity.
it's not just being responsive to others. It's built, it's a field, it's an energy field, it's a
But
you
that's how that
create it.
energy
Let
field
me
is
finish my
created.
sentence. Let's finish our sentences. I
Okay.
probably jump into you too,
Okay, I apologize.
and I do too, because I'm sure I have jumped in to you, but we can't continue that way. To it's setting a stage, it's setting a field, it's setting I mean, it's not just responding to people as you go to the store. You know, I mean, it is that, but swimming with dolphins in a cadre is like, I don't know how we can experience that in our interaction. And it would be good if we had a third person, because three is very configuratively different than two. You have a lot more possibilities.
Yeah, for me, that's what culture is all about, and there's a sort of an ambiance that you get with people that you're really compatible with, or in a good team experience where you kind of all just work together, even though you're doing different things, but you really feel that connection. I mean, that's for me what that experience is like. And you can do it in the grocery store, actually.
Yes, yes.
Um, but yeah, and it's at a deeper level than just the surface responding.
Right.
And that's how I shop, actually. And I will notice there are certain people that we sort of are together, that there's some sort of connection. So we'll cross paths several times, or we'll come in and leave at the same time. There's some connection that keeps us together. And that's part of that. It's not conscious for the other person, for sure. They're totally oblivious of it. But those connections are always there. I mean, that's why we're connected. That's what it means to be connected, is to be in that space. And when we recognize that space and act from that space, then the whole world changes, because there's that kind of gratitude, that recognition, that comfort. I mean, there's just so many words for being in that space with another person. That's really wonderful and very profound. But we don't drop into that very often. And especially with people we don't know, we don't pay attention to it, but it's always there.
Well, we create it. It's not space. It's not like empty space. It's a field. It's an energy field. It's a
Yeah.
configuration of within. It's a built environment almost
Yeah. It's
to,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's creating conditions conducive to that kind of interchange. And that's that's the experience that I have in deep dive often.
Mhm.
That this space, this space is for that condition. We're building conditions to have this deeper felt exchange with others that we're still struggling to find a language for it, but it feels good. It's
Yeah.
it's a flow. It's it's a combining. It's interplay. And I know of nothing more enjoyable and fruitful
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah. And with the Dolphins, that's kind of his experience, but they're all play. They're all about play because they
Yeah.
don't work. There's no work in the dolphin world except getting fed or protecting yourself, but everything else is play. So that's what
Cool.
they do. Yeah. Yeah. And they have all these games that they created and stuff.
I've been looking for games online, different games that maybe I could bring here to the community here. And I'm having a tough time finding games that encourage spontaneity, encourage exchange, and but it's all about creating creating conditions conducive to that. And that's what a game is for, is playing a game is like creating conditions conducive to spontaneous interchange,
Yep.
which I think we all want and love and need.
ARP has a whole thing on adult games.
Well, would you change your screen? Yeah, full face. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I have to hold it because it's my phone. So sometimes I have to put it down.
Oh, sure. Can't you
Uh,
prop it in something?
Yeah, I haven't found a way yet.
Okay.
So ARP has a whole thing on adult games.
Art?
ARP, AARP.
Oh, they do?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. So you might find something there.
And remind me what that stands for. I know it's for older people.
I don't know. I don't remember either.
Okay.
Yeah, aarp.org. And if you're not a member, I don't know how much access you have, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, if they got games, I'll become a member.
Yeah, it's like $16 a year.
All right.
And they have huge, I mean, they've really, really, really built out what they do. So they've got incredible resources now for that. And you get a magazine and two magazines actually, and they're filled with stuff that's really useful.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been a member since I turned 50. A long time. And they used to be $8 a year. Now they're 16. But
Useful for what? They're filled.
anything. They have medical stuff, they've got financial stuff, they have safety stuff, they have travel stuff, they have all sorts of things. And it's things that I'm glad I know. I probably didn't know that I needed to know it at the time. And I don't know that I would have actually researched it. I might have, but it's just lots of useful stuff. How to save money, all sorts of things for older people.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. They do a lot of lobbying also. I have a client actually, she's doing a work transition, and I'm suggesting she might be interested in working with their fraud division because she's very into finance and fraud in particular, because that's what she's done for her entire career. And I think it might be a really good place for her to do something different, but more focused in the area that she wants to play. So we'll see.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm investigating dying
Okay.
and pre-planning for that. It's a trip. But I realized, hey, I'm 82, you know, come on. So, and it's interesting, and I'm meeting some cool folks. The guy that put this workshop on, I like him. Um, I don't know. It's interesting, you know, kind of erasing that line
Mhm.
between life and death. Um, because it's fluid. It's fluid. The difference.
Have you looked at green burials or any of that kind of stuff?
I'm looking at all that. Yeah, because right, and I forget what the other one is called. Yeah, I'm looking at that, and I haven't found. I just want a shroud in the hole in the dirt and in the earth. That's all I want, but that's hard to find.
Yeah, and it's hard to find a cemetery that
That
will allow it.
dump me
Yeah.
because
So
that's where I
human
belong.
composting,
Huh?
yeah, human composting is a nice entree into that.
It's expensive and intended, and it's hard to find.
Yep.
There's a I forget. I don't have my notes right here, and I take wonderful notes, but I can never read them afterwards.
Well, that's the app that I tried to add to Zoom. It's a note taker, and it allows you to bookmark things, special places, and be able to find them again and all sorts of things. So I thought that would be really neat, especially for the deep dives, because sometimes there's these little vignettes that are really sweet, and I'd like to be able to pull those out. But it's not working. So
On my Zoom screen, I have a whole row of
yep,
what's like apps. I don't know
yep.
what they are or what is, what they are. I haven't ventured into complicating my life by clicking on them.
I know some of them. I don't know all of them. Um, yeah, and it syncs with Zoom, but it freezes the whole thing. It just doesn't work. So
That's yeah, I suspected that might happen.
yeah,
But
I've never had that problem with an app before, but this really. So hopefully we can figure it out.
yeah, and it's like, so I'm looking at my life. I'm looking at my lived life and the experiences and what and my creations and I talked with my niece who wants to be my point person. She wants
Oh,
to come
nice.
down here and do, take the ashes and bring them back home and all that stuff. And it's like, so all of the music that I've written, I mean, it's like I've written all these songs,
Oh my gosh.
scored them all. They're songs to God, to life, to,
Right.
you know, and they're
You
wonderful.
should publish those, Ani, as a book.
What do you mean? How? What do you mean?
Well, people publish music, it's a thing that people
Or,
buy. And lots of spiritual groups look for music.
because they're wonderful.
Yeah, no, you do great work. So you should publish them so other people can use them.
I don't know how to publish my scored music.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure there's a way. I don't know how either, but
They're spirit based.
yeah,
It's all
Google it. There's got to be somebody who's doing it.
a world awakened, voice of a new millennium. Behold, my beloved, gentle as silence, motorcycle riding time, still small voice. Wake up. We are what we need, and on and on and on and on. They're
Yeah,
wonderful, and it's like I want to pass these on,
yeah.
and I don't know how to publish a book of my music.
So what I would do, I'm just thinking of where I am and what I know. And I know a woman who does choir in a church who has got a real good depth of understanding of music and has done a lot in that world. And she would be a source that I would go to say, what would I do? So maybe there's somebody near you like that in a church, in a choir, that is really used to buying music, to finding music, to using music, who could tell you about what the path is to get it published. Because it should be published. I mean, it's just a shame not to. It could become an
It's,
income stream. Who knows?
I don't care about that. I have all the money I need with Social Security.
Yeah.
I don't have any bills. I lived in subsidized housing, you
Yep.
know. Um, but to publish it as not a book, because you can't put a book on the piano thing.
Yeah, they do. I've got hymnals.
I can't put this can't be a hymnal.
Why not? Why not? I mean, Unitarians would love it.
Just that word. It's an old
So
word.
get over it. Get over it. No,
No,
you're putting
it's a
all these
category.
limitations on yourself. You can't control how it's used. That's not the point, is it? The point is to get it out there so people can use it. So just do what you need to do.
I appreciate your encouragement to do this. America, our land, it's beautiful. Oh my God. I mean, all of them are beautiful.
Well, then get them out
I
there.
do want to share them. I
Yeah.
do. But not by just giving it, by not just sending a book form to so I want to exchange. I want to share them
Putting
online.
them out there allows people to find them who are drawn to that. You've got to trust the spirit. You've got to trust the energy. It's not about your control. Give that up. Just make it available.
Okay.
The
I think
songs speak for themselves, right?
they do, but I want to share them. It's like
Sure. That's
it,
how you do it right now, unless you want to do performance. I would encourage that too. Go schedule a hall or something and perform them.
yeah, but many of them are like are for choir, for alto
Well,
soprano.
then form a choir. But I think you should think bigger than just that.
They're just it's so alive in me. It's hard to put them in a static form.
Well, it doesn't, you don't lose anything by doing it. They stay with you. It's not like they disappear.
I know, but I want to do it now here with you, and this isn't the forum, you know.
Well, it's fine. I mean, if you want to sing or something, I'm certainly willing to listen to that. But you do need to get them out to others.
Yeah, I do. This one's funny. I'm seeking God. I'm seeking, and I'll say it rather than sing it because it's, I'm seeking God in my toothpaste, God in my soap, God in the water on my back and in my throat, God in the closet as I put on my wardrobe, God in the mirror putting earrings in earlobes. We're not seeking God for our answers today. We're seeking God for what we do and say. We're not seeking God for something. We're seeking God, our everything. God, you are the miracle. Oh, I have to turn, it's not set up to do what I'm doing. God, but anyway, I wrote all of these in the 80s when I was living in Israel. I wrote many of these when I was living in Israel on a hiatus of whatever you call that, where you go, what is that word? A journey, I forget.
Walkabout,
No, it's
quest, quest.
quest, basically a quest. But I got all this rich stuff, and I really have to. I did when I was in Indianapolis at the Church Within. I was the music director, so I was able to share a lot of these songs, and the choir, especially as we came into the new millennium, into 2000. I wrote Voice of a New Millennium the day before it became 2000, and it's wonderful. I wish I knew exactly how to go to it right now so I could share the words with you. A new millennium destined to be a time in which we all shall see the holy presence in you and me. It's about that. Well, what you looking for?
Publishing music.
Oh. Yeah, because I've got them scored, and the chords.
Yeah, see, I'm sure somebody's got an app that will allow you to publish scored music. I'm sure there is. So
Yeah,
you just got to find it.
I wrote these in the 80s. They didn't have apps then.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, no, a lot of it is about, so let's see, let me change my search thing here.
Yeah. Love is the only language for people far apart, the only medium of exchange for matters of the heart. We stand so far apart, my friend, it's hard to see eye to eye. When what I see as my journey's truth, you see only as lies. Our discussions become a battlefield with ammunition in our words. Our voices grow louder as we struggle to be heard. Love is the only language with sufficient light to help us see it could be both of us are right. Love is the only language vast enough to use to expand the limitations of both of our views. Love is the only language we can trust to be there when we really need it, to express we truly care. We stand so far apart, my friend, it's hard to hear what you say. I will bridge the difference. I'll let love lead the way. We exchange religious views and political perspectives that we receive along the way as societal directives. Love is the only language. It's anyway, that's the kind of treasure.
So there is a music notation software, and Kindle, it appears, would allow you to publish it. I haven't delved deeper, but when I said publishing scored music, Kindle came up. So I've used Kindle, and it's probably easier now because I was 10 years ago. But that would be, I mean, it's a project. It would consume you for a bit, but once it's up, just like your other book.
Right, because I used Kindle to write this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I just have to work
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I have to do because this is to be preserved.
It should be. Yes, it's wonderful stuff.
Should be shared. I thought about just putting it in the mail and sending it to my niece. But what could she do with it? She doesn't know how to do that stuff.
Well, she'd have to do the same thing you're doing.
Right. Okay. All right. And I've got the rest of my life to do it in, however long that is.
That's true enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of my friends have died in the 80s. In the 80s. So that's all I go on, you know. I might go beyond that, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I often kind of attempt to see into that slide between life and death. That kind of slide where you just kind of go into a different consciousness, awareness.
Yeah, there's a kind of slowing down, and I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do this, and you're happy to release it all. Yeah.
But to prepare for that so that it's graceful.
Yeah,
easy.
well, yeah, it kind of is if you let it happen. Yeah.
What was your experience when you had cancer that threatened your life?
Well, it was a surprise. Well, let me start earlier, actually. I like to sleep on my stomach. And I remember sleeping on my stomach and realizing there was something there and it was uncomfortable. So I stopped sleeping on my stomach. Years later, when I fell and hit my head and realized that something was not normal, so I should inquire from an authority who might know more than me. And I called the hospital, who told me to come in. So I did. And when I was in that hospital room after I'd been diagnosed, they said I had cancer, and I went, well, maybe. The numbers were not convincing to me. So I insisted on a biopsy, which they couldn't do at the time. But in my head, there was a blackness. And I remember standing at the window of the hospital room and being asked if I wanted to live.
But
And
by then,
no, in my head.
okay.
And I said yes. And so all that blackness cleared up, and I knew I was going to live, but I didn't know how. And then I just said yes to everything that came in front of me. And it worked out fine.
Oh, cool. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Life is yes.
Yeah,
I put in the Bible, I put before you life and death. Choose life.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah. Or
Period.
not. Yes. Yeah, well, and that's where we are as a species.
Right.
Yeah, we've got that same choice. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are so much unconsciously.
Well, a lot is conscious. I mean, I'm really amazed at how similar the conversations are now. I mean, they've really changed just in the last few months. People are realizing how critical the situation is, and that we really do need to do something. People still are not clear about what. And there's such a resistance to putting our hands in the dirt. We really want to build all this stuff up here. We don't want to come back and work with the planet, which is what we're being asked to do. So that's the next shift that has to happen. People have to stop all the technology, all of the going to space, all that kind of crap, and just get here. So that's starting to happen in a few places. But I'm just amazed actually at the number of conversations that are so similar, that people are really saying, and I'm even hearing we've got to quit talking about it. We've got to start doing stuff. And the only thing you can do is on the planet, so just engaged with that. I mean, there's so much we can do to help the planet cool. Whether it's going to be enough, I mean, there's no way of knowing that. But because life wants life, and if we're wanting life, there's a partnership there. So I really believe that if enough of us want life and are willing to work with life for it, we'll figure out a way. But we do have to focus on that. And that does mean coming back to the planet and talking about trees and plants and soil and all that kind of stuff, because that's where life is on this planet. That's what needs to be healthy enough for the rest of us. So
I only know to start from where I am. And that's what I did with starting the garden, the
yeah,
senior
exactly.
garden where I live.
Yep.
And with the whole theme, returning to the land.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the theme, returning to the land. And planting those vegetables, digging in the dirt and taking seeds. And I still got those seeds, and I don't have any land to put them in. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if it's appropriate in your time and place, but being a little more politically astute and really working from the top down, because you have to in your space, because if the top doesn't want it, it's not going to happen, which was your experience. I mean, is there any way that you can address that? Can you be clever and, all of those things you need to be to get people to say yes, even when they don't know what they're saying yes to?
We have a manager here that's new, this woman that I really like, and I think I can work with her. I'm just kind of
Well,
getting
she's
my ducks in a row
great.
to talk with her. And I could even bring these packets of seeds, and
Well, she has to
but
work with the people above her too, though, so you can't put her at risk.
no, but they're not gonna. The people above her are what shut the garden down for
That's what
security and liability concerns.
that's why I'm saying this. So you have to deal with that.
Well, they said no.
You have to deal with that. So they said no. What does that mean? That means that right now they don't understand.
That means it's padlocked.
You are not hearing me. You're not hearing me. You have people in your space that have a lot of fear concerns. If you wish to do something that's going to raise those concerns for them, you need to address those concerns for them somehow.
I told them we will sign waivers. You will not be held responsible if anything happens to us while we're doing the garden.
But it's also about relationship. So they have to trust you when you say that. Right now, they don't.
I don't know how to get in touch with them. I have searched the internet. They're not available. It's a family. It's a family-owned thing. The people have died, and now it's only the family members. The children are, you know, and they're not
Right.
interested.
Right. Right. But somehow, and I don't know how, but if the manager is willing, if there's, you got to,
You know, talk with her.
and figure out how she can feel safe and protected in doing this too. So, I mean, get that piece together and then the garden will just happen. But you don't want her at risk. You don't want to lose her if you like her. So how can you support her in working with the people she's got to work with so that she's okay and safe?
All I can do is ask, bring my little seeds and
Yeah.
ask my
Yeah.
ideas, and the tools that are locked in, that are padlocked in the where we had the garden. You know, and I've still got 12 fabric pots to grow stuff in, padlocked away. Yeah, but all right, do it again.
Yeah.
Try again.
Yeah. Yeah.
The new manager, and I really like her. She's open.
Very good.
I will. Thank you for your encouragement.
You're welcome.
Public my songs and still dig my garden.
Yeah.
Apply myself
Yeah.
in interaction with more life. Yeah,
Yeah.
because all those things are available to us.
Yeah. And do it with non-attachment so it doesn't hurt if it doesn't work the first time. And you have more creative space to figure out another way.
Yeah. Yeah, because if I had a car and if the city had a place or if somebody had a place that was open to people that you could rent and
Oh,
you
I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it's
yeah,
there. We have community gardens all over.
I'm
So,
not going to do that. I'm not going to get on the bus with with my tool, with my spade, you know. You know, or anyway, you have to work with what you got, but
yeah.
and okay, thank you. Yeah. Because returning to the land, I mean, and I even tried to weave it in to senior gardening. I mean, we're going to return to the land. So let's
Yeah.
return to the land before we return to the land.
Yeah.
Let's partner with the land before our ashes return to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing if you put it in the right context.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the same thing. And that's what's so wonderful about life and the land. Ah,
Yeah.
so what else?
Yeah. Well, we started this whole conversation talking about the swimming with the dolphins and that ambiance. And I just think that's how you live life, is working to create that kind of connection, that subtle field that people can be in. And when you do that well, things just happen. They're just magical. They just flow.
Yeah.
There's no resistance. It just works. And if you don't do that, it's just one hell of a fight after another. And you got to recognize when people can do that and when they can't.
Well, I just want to express my appreciation again for you providing a forum that makes it possible for people to come together in a pod and
Like that. Oh yeah, no, it's just, yeah, it's just so much fun.
Sure,
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's all,
and that's, yeah, it's almost time. It is time, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
well, I've enjoyed it. Thanks for letting me share stuff.
Yes, it's so fun being with you.
I hope people watch this and like it. And if they do, I wish they'd give you feedback or
Well, I'm getting some feedback from, like I said, one person who's doing this. I can appreciate people not watching. I don't do videos very much. It's really hard for me to take the time to do a video because you're stuck in that time frame. You've got to go for that length of time, and it's a pain for me. So I don't do a lot of videos. So I can really appreciate that. But I know there are people that do, that love them. So this is available on my YouTube channel, and it's available on the network. And people are watching both. I am starting to get people to the YouTube channel. I've never really paid attention to it before, but now I'm starting to be more active there. And so I've got 14 people who follow what I put up. So,
good.
you know,
I just renamed from my name, I'm Ahavah, to my email address. If anybody wants to email me for any reason to become friends or to, I don't know, whatever.
okay, I will put that under the video so people can access that.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Thank you, Kathryn. Bless you. You do good work. You really
Thank you.
do.
Thank you. You do too.
I just express myself. That's my work. Do
That
whatever.
is our work. That is our work. That's all it is. Right there. That's it.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. That's all we got.
Just
But
interesting ways
it's
to
enough.
express
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Creative ways to express ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Bless you. Bye.
Bye.